but I think overall, I would give the thumbs up to the GaelPrint.
It doesn't waste all your ink, I'm saving money, and I'm using what we're already being charged for, so I think it's great.
Amid a shrunken budget, Computer and Technology Services has found a way to offer students more. GaelPrint was started during the 2009-2010 school year, and all students were given a $25 credit, good for 500 prints.
I mean, students had a real need to print stuff, and we know from past surveys that only about half the students, and half the students at most, bring printers with them when they come to college. So they come assuming they'll find a place on campus to print. So, you know, it looked like a legitimate need that we needed to address.
Computer and Technology Services, or CATS, had good intentions, and that paid off for the students.
I think it's great. Ever since a freshman I've been saying I think it's silly that we are being charged for printing and we pay so much in tuition and stuff, and I feel like part of the library and being students and through everything we should be allowed to print for free.
I do like GaelPrint. I like GaelPrint primarily because I have an antiquated printer myself, and it frequently runs out of ink, so it's nice to be able to come to the library and rely on GaelPrint. I use GaelPrint, I would say almost every day or almost every other day, because most of my classes have readings on e-reserve, and I like to be able to highlight and write notes in the margins, so I usually print those articles out and using GaelPrint and then take them in the class.
It's nice, it's easier. Like, for example, I've been out of ink for probably about a month now, but I haven't had to go buy it, which saves me money.
I don't think we've had any real negative feedback. We're offering enhanced services. Students can go print in color. A lot of students have taken advantage of that. What's the problem? We haven't heard a lot of negative feedback.
It's kind of crazy. It's just been the demand for computer usage is just really because we have this new service, which is free printing.
In the past, the printing system was inconvenient for students.
They had to go buy a card, had to have cash with them, feed the cash in the machine, put the card in, print until the card was out of cash, go back, put more money in.
We wanted to see how can we make this also something that was a little bit more convenient for students in terms of printing costs.
Many students are using GaelPrint, which means using more supplies, and supply costs are being picked up by the college.
Oh yeah, they love it because they think it's free. It's not really free.
But we didn't go out there and say, well, we're giving students $25 a term, so we're going to jack up their fees $50. We did not do that. We don't charge students an extra dime.
Where did that money come from?
The goodwill of my staff, who just added it on to everything else they were doing.
Now we're looking at the budget and we're saying, okay, we've incurred so much cost this year that we never had before because a vendor picked it up for us.
In the past, an outside vendor paid for paper and toner. Today, CATS is paying for those supplies. These costs total about $4,000 each semester.
All of a sudden we have a supply cost that we didn't have before. We have to pull money from other budgets to cover it. That might limit our services in certain other areas. You know, maybe our student wage budget for hiring student workers might not be as much, and so on and so forth. So that's all. It affects everything.
It's also clear that students are careless with the number of prints that they are making.
I would say that students are generally, I think, pretty wasteful with almost every resource on this campus, but particularly stuff that they're given for what they think is free.
I think it's a great system because it's convenient for them, but it totally just doesn't make them accountable for what they're printing. I go through 50 reams of paper every week, and probably 10 reams of that just goes right into the recycling bin after they printed.
Almost every time I print something out, there's stuff in the tray that no one's taken, whether they just forgot about it or it's something that they didn't really need.
And because there's this idea that, oh, I have so much free printing, they just go ahead and do it. To them, they love it because they feel like they can print anything they want.
You're going to be charged $25 no matter what. So what incentive is there to conserve resources by not printing out papers that you may not really need to print out?
CATS has significantly adjusted their budget to provide for students. The future of GaelPrint relies on students altering too.
You know, really, if there's any message out there, it's consider, like, there is a cost to every service that's being provided. So for everything that a student is getting, it's at a cost to someone else.
So what a lot of people don't know about GaelPrint is that when you log on in Windows, it saves your GaelPrint password. So what I try to do is I try to find all the computers that people have failed to log out of on Windows and use their credits to print my paper, so that way my credit's not being charged. That's why I love GaelPrint.